Hi, and welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Flo, I'm a 2D and 3D artist, and today we're talking about how to create a hand-drawn metal logo. The word I chosen here is heavy, which has 5 letters. And I'm usually just, using some kind of symmetry to start it off, because most of the time metal logos are A, heavy, and B, symmetrical, or have at least some symmetrical parts. And for the design, I thought about something, a little bit round ish on the rounder side of things, but with bold letters. It kind of looks like a 5 point perspective or fisheye a little bit. So it's, distorting uh, away from the middle pretty much. So the outside it's distorted the most. And yeah, it's just like many others. I mean, I'm drawing it. I'm feeling my way into it, pretty much like drawing, looking, flipping the canvas, uh, going back and forth. I'm just looking at it, pretty much, and reacting to it. It's completely gut feeling right now. I'm turning it on the side. I flip it again. I, make it a little bit more transparent. And here I'm going in with a smaller brush, with a round brush. It doesn't really matter how you're drawing with what kinds of brushes. I think one of the most important things is that the brush is, you know, helping you and not hindering you at your work, right? And here, sometimes I try some small details, sometimes I do bigger shapes, and I switch the brushes back and forth. So here I thought, why don't I add some kind of thorns or spikes or daggers or whatever? Added a threshold effect so it was completely black and I could see it a little bit better. But usually, there's no perfect way to do it. It's always looking back and forth. Here I've been drawing over it again a bit to make it more into the direction I wanted to go, because I kind of lost the way from the initial vision I had because of the top and the bottom of the H and the Y. Also, the H looks kind of like a K right now, but I'm gonna be fixing it in a couple of seconds or so. And yeah, tried to add more spikes, more roots, more something that makes it more metal. Just like I said, complete gut feeling. And also, you want to think about how this as a composition works, right? So, lines lead back into the center around the edges from one letter to the next and back again. So, the viewer stays in there for as long as possible. That is pretty much the main goal. That is something that, or that is the main rule, I think, that makes something interesting. You have to step back a little, look at it, think about it. Now I'm starting to fill in the shapes, which is pretty handy in Krita. You just press F and set up your settings correctly once, and then it works. I mean, it works in Photoshop and Clip Studio and wherever else. It works very similarly in most softwares. And I'm still going over it a bit because, like I said a minute ago, the H looked kind of like a K, and it kind of looks good now. And I'm just finishing some little small things, copy it over to Inkscape. You could also use Corel Draw, Illustrator, whatever, something to trace it, or you could trace it by hand. But this is the simplest way that I know that is completely free. And now I have vectors. I copy them, I paste them into Affinity Designer where I work usually, and separate the letters now. There's some floating shapes that I don't need, that you don't even see. They are very small. But yeah, and then I copy it around and change the kerning or the tracking, however you want to call it. and try around a little bit. And this is pretty much, this whole process took me about, I want to say 45, 50 minutes or something. And this was completely without a reference or whatever. And if I have a reference and know where I'm shooting or what I'm shooting for, it is way easier even. This is just a demo so you guys can see how I'm going about it. And there's tons of ways. There's, your creativity is pretty much the main point. You can do whatever the hell you want. Trying some stuff around still, but I'm pretty much finished now. I added some typography, and now I'm adding a little bit of dirt over it in a second. First I'm centering it all, and then I'm adding some dirt and a threshold filter, because that is exactly how I'm usually working when I work with some texture brushes and stuff, or with textures generally, because threshold guarantees you that there's only black and white, and that is exactly what I need for screen printing most of the time. So yeah, then you can play around with the levels a little bit. You see me changing it in a second, I think, and I'll be turning it down a little bit, and then here you see it a little bit less. Oftentimes less is more, sometimes more is more. You gotta figure it out, but this is pretty readable. This looks good, and I think we have a somewhat solid logo. So yeah, that's basically it. And I think for 45 minutes that it took me, that's not too shabby at all. And imagine what comes out if you have like 7-8 hours for a day or something. Depends on the budget, depends on your time. So that's it. I hope it helped you guys. And if you'd like to see more, let me know down in the comments below. Have a great day, and bye bye. Cheers.